What is up, you guys? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the Bikeberry F-Zero motorized bicycle frame, and I've been wanting to buy one of these for a very long time, and I finally got my hands on one. Without further ado, let's dive right in. So, I know I'm going to get a lot of comments saying, what motor's going in this bike? And that's a very good question. A few videos back, I recently mentioned that I'm going to be building a case reed Minarelli, and I've been kind of debating on just throwing a YD100 in there with a case reed, because I've seen those rip as well. So whatever motor goes in this, it's going to be a powerhouse for sure. Starting at the main feature of this frame, the 2.4 liter gas tank that's built in. This thing is awesome, and I will go ahead and line the tank because it's definitely recommended. They like to leak around here. Mind you, my welds look pretty good there, so we'll just see, what happens there. But the tank is really well made. You can see all these welds, man. Like, look, down here, like, everything is really well built. Especially these rear dropouts. I mean, this thing is going to handle, I would say, 8 to 10 horsepower with no issues at all. But yeah, the main feature is definitely this. You can see underneath the built-in gas tank, there are some little tabs there to run your cables through, and that's very nice for your clutch cable and things like that. We have our clip-on style handlebars with the aluminum alloy brake levers. They work very well. We'll get to the brakes in a moment. The only thing I'm missing is this little cap. I'm sure I can find one on Amazon. One thing a lot of people don't mention about this frame is that you have to assemble the headset when you get it. I've assembled many threadless headsets in the past, so it was very easy. But if you don't know how to do so, there's many videos, and I'll link them in the description. Moving on to the triple tree forks. These stanchions, I'm not really sure what size these are. Matter of fact, let's get a caliper and measure, because I'm pretty sure they're like 32 millimeter. They're definitely pretty big. So usually most mountain bike stanchions are 28 to 30 millimeters, but this seems like pretty beefy. So let's find out. Okay, so 31.6, so 32 millimeter stanchions on those triple tree forks, and they're the suspension model. A lot of guys don't like the suspension model. They say they buckle under hard braking force. Mind you, these only have 160 mil rotors on the front, so we shouldn't have any of those issues there. The wheel set that comes with this bike is super durable. They are aluminum double wall rims wrapped in these beautiful, they should say on the other side of the tire what brand they are. They are Compasses. Let's see if we can get that there. Yeah, Compass, and I believe they're 26 by 2.3s, and these are similar to the Hyper tires, but the thing with the Hyper tires is they're kind of the fake knockoffs, and they don't have much grip to them. This has tons of grip to it and is a lot more sticky, so these are going to be really good on the main roads. Moving down to this little banana seat here, I'm going to admit, guys, these banana seats are not the most comfortable thing. As you can see on my other bike here, the Yamaha has a banana seat as well, but the bar connects to the rear axle, as you can see, whereas this one has two little tabs connecting to your seat stay. So in my opinion, I only go for like 20-minute rides tops, maybe half an hour at the most, and this seat's gonna do it for me. I mean, I like how this bike has a stretch kind of look. I find my other bikes, I'm kind of crammed on the mountain bikes, whereas this, I can sit kind of over the rear tire, and my handlebars are way up. I'm kind of a tall guy for my age. I'm at probably 5'10", 5'11", and this seat's going to be good for me. The crank set on this bike. Okay, so we're starting with some decent aluminum alloy pedals. I mean, good standard comes with that. We have some 170 millimeter aluminum alloy crank arms, very light and very durable. We have this huge, this is the only complaint that I have about this bike, and mind you, this is a very nice bike, is the chainring. I mean, that's a ridiculously big chainring for something that you're trying to pedal very, very slowly. And it's kind of tough fitting a motor. As you can see, the motor is going to go here and the clutch cover could possibly hit. So I'm going to order the CDH Power CNC mount to get around that. Or I could order a smaller chainring. It's probably cheaper to do that. On the bottom side of this tank, you can see it comes with a little fuel shutoff, and this is where your fuel comes out. And I don't know the exact weld points. I don't know if the gas tank frame goes all the way to here, but I'm assuming it would stop here because of the seat post there. So I mean, you got all this room to fill it with fuel. It's definitely a really good benefit. One thing that comes standard on this bike, and I'm really excited to tell you guys about, is the double kickstand. If you guys watch my channel for a while, you know I've had some past experiences with those bikes, you know, not having double kickstands and them falling over. So this coming standard is definitely really nice. We'll have to buy one of those. Continuing on to the rear, we notice that the seat stay tube and the chainstay tube is a lot thicker than your standard bicycle. Here's the one on a Hyper. Mind you, these are pretty decent, and then you compare them to a mountain bike, and they're super duper small. So overall, standard bicycle frames are going to be a lot weaker, which is fine because they're at a decent, reasonable price. But these are going to hold up to a lot more, you know, abuse. And I say that kind of, you know, as a double-edged sword, right? So this is where it gets kind of confusing. This is an aluminum frame. Aluminum, high-quality aluminum, doesn't mind vibration. It can take a lot of it. I don't know if this is high-quality aluminum, so we'll have to find that out during the series. But, you know, cheap steel will hold up a lot better than cheap aluminum. So we'll have to see what happens in the near future. But judging by these huge welds and this gorgeous paint job, I mean, this thing obviously looks very well built. We have a 203mm rotor on the rear. Hiding behind that is a 36-tooth rear sprocket with that little spacer in there, and they made this setup work really well. The rear brake works very well on this bike. So that is pretty much an overview of the components on this bicycle. The few things that you may have to do when you get it is I would recommend, you know, when you assemble this headset, make sure you watch a few videos on it, make sure you're doing it correctly, obviously. But I would put some grease in there. There was no grease in there, so definitely go ahead and throw in some Lucas Red and Tacky on those bearings or whatever you got. And the spokes. I recently just found this out. You're not going to find this on all of them, but some of them had loose spokes. So what I did on mine is I went around my spoke wrench and I tightened up all these spokes to prevent them from buckling, you know, when I'm under hard throttle. And I did that for the front and the rear. Another habit to get into is greasing your seat post. I went ahead and did this also. I know it's aluminum on aluminum and it can't rust, but it can corrode. Also, your drivetrain. I know this isn't the main drivetrain on these motorized bicycles, but guys, make sure your pedals are obviously moving free, make sure your crankset is not over tightened, and make sure your chain is at the proper adjustment and things like that. And guys, one more safety thing I wanted to let you guys know about. This isn't specifically the F-Zero. This is for any motorized bicycle. But where I'm going to be achieving really high speeds on this bike, I'm going to go ahead and throw some thread locker on those sprocket bolts, because those are known to back out on any gas bike frame with the built-in sprocket and everything like that. So I'm definitely going to do that for the near future. And I'm going to wrap up the video for here, guys. You know, this is a little tour of the F-Zero. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. One more thing is I wanted to mention that Bikeberry has been a super awesome company to work with. And I'm not saying this to just be biased. This bike came in like a week or so, and they're in California. I'm all the way in Nova Scotia. That is a huge gap. They're basically across the U.S., and I'm up all the way in north. So this thing came in super duper quick, showed up at my front door. I didn't have to pay any duties or anything like that. This thing just came right to my door. No dents or scratches in the frame. You can see, obviously, this thing is just straight all the way down. And they packaged this thing super duper well. And I can't thank them enough for sending this over. This is my dream to build one of these. It's kind of crazy how it starts. You know, it was my dream to build a motorized bicycle. Then it was my dream to build a Hyper, because Hypers are sick. And then now we're moving on to the big boy stuff. So definitely super stoked to put a high-performance motor on this frame. And now that's all dialed in, I really trust this frame. And, you know, I just can't thank you guys enough and everybody for watching this channel. But now we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video. Obviously, drop a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.